Okay, I want to warn you all in advance. I had a bit of a family emergency come up, so I'm not in my office, and I don't have my usual setup of multiple monitors, and I'm doing this off of a laptop. So it may be a little bumpy when I transfer from screen to screen, but we're going to go ahead and get this done, and hopefully we'll all learn a little throughout it. So, um, so today we're talking about the Internet Archive and the Wayback Machine. And what I am going to do is flip over to share that screen. Give me 1 second to do that. Okay. So now you could see I'm sharing the screen with the Wayback Machine on it. This is the Internet Archive. Sorry, I meant to say Internet Archive, not Wayback Machine. They're part of the same organization. There's the Internet Archive is uh, well, not a charity, but a nonprofit that specifically collects all kinds of um, reference material, books and videos, newspapers. It's kind of like if you go on Ancestry or Family Search and you'll go through their catalog section, and you'll see all the different books and newspapers and things there. The Internet Archive is very much the same. It's a little broader because it's not specifically focused on genealogy, but everything that they store is in the public domain, available to the public, or the whoever it is that owns that specific library has given permission to have it put on the Internet Archive. So, for instance, I know that there are a number of different universities throughout the globe that have shared their libraries or parts of their libraries on the Internet Archive. Um, you can search without a login and sign up. If you do choose to make your own account, the account is free. It does offer you the ability to download some things you wouldn't normally be able to download. There are certain, again, books and reference material that you will need a login to be able to access, but it's so big and there's so much here that I'd say most, or probably about 80% of what's here is available without an account. In addition to the written word, like I said, books and manuscripts, newspapers, they also have video files, they have audio files, some very old movies, some records or albums that have been, again, in the public domain. Or have been shared. It's none of the audio or video is anything current or top 40, but you'll find maybe some obscure stuff that might be of interest. I look at it as a supporting tool in my genealogy research. You can find a lot of information there about the history of different places that you're researching. And some of it is pretty specific. My research, a lot of my research takes me into Italy and Ireland and England, and I can read Italy and Ireland. Getting books in Italian is hard, and it's hard to go through. But the Internet Archive has a lot. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to show you how we search on the Internet Archive. Um, So this is the main screen. When you type in archive.org, this is what you get. And I am going to type in, let's start with Italian newspapers. So now we can see now each of these boxes that comes up is an archive or a collection. Sometimes it could be a single book or a single newspaper, and other times it could be a whole collection of newspapers or books within a specific archive, so a specific box. So here I could see that this is a good example. On the left here, we have a subcategory called Italian newspapers, and it has 41,000 and change items in it. And I can click on it, and I will in a second, and it'll bring up a bunch of different newspapers. Or I can look to these boxes on the right here, and they seem to be from the CIA reading room, which is interesting. I don't know what the CIA has on Italian newspapers that it is willing to publish on the internet, but you could see by the where I'm hovering over that this was published in 1949, so it probably isn't as secretive as as it might have been at that time. And if I scroll down, you can see there's many different newspapers and things that will come up when I put the search terms Italian newspaper in there. On the left, you'll see I can filter by different types. So it's mostly text, but we do have some audio, some photographs, some movies. And then the years, I can go, let's see, if I click on more for the year, it should give me a list of all the years that they have records for. So you can see we start with 2026, where it's got 86 records, or I can go all the way to the end, and this starts in 1806. So it's really interesting seeing the amount of stuff that's available to me. And again, I'm just looking at Italian newspapers. You might be looking for something else entirely. But there's a lot of information there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to click on this Italian newspapers subgroup, and it'll give me, here are all the Italian newspapers that they have that are available to me. So let's try the first one, La Patria di Friuli. I'll click on that. And then it gives me every one of these boxes, now that we've drilled down, is the newspaper on a different day. So the first one we can see is 1912, January 7th. The second one is April 16th of 1923. We have October 4th of 1912. So if I click on that, let's choose this 1912 one. It'll load it in the viewer, so we can see now. Obviously, it's very small. So what I'll want to do is I'll want to make sure that I'm still sharing the right window, and yes, I am. Okay. So what I can do in the bottom right here, we have zooming in and zooming out, and we also have the ability to go full screen. So with something this small, or with text this small, I'm going to go full screen, and then I can zoom in until I get to the point where I can actually read something. So it looks like that. Now, one of the things that I find interesting about the Internet Archive and the way it saves its files is the ability to select text in a file. If you saw my newsletter this week, you saw that I use the Google Translate extension a lot to help me translate words that are on a computer screen, so I don't have to flip back and forth between the Google Translate webpage and the actual page that I'm trying to read. And as much as I love researching my Italian genealogy, I do not I can't read Italian very well at all. So I use Translate a lot. In the Internet Archive, there are files that you can translate on the page, and there are ones that you cannot. And the way that you can tell is if you see my cursor is, I'll go up here so you can see it a little easier. My cursor is a little hand with the index finger pointing up. And that means that I can click on the individual pages and it will flip from page to page. So I can flip through the newspaper by clicking on it. But what I cannot do is select text, because every time I line up my cursor and try to drag down, it drags the whole newspaper like I'm moving it up and down. So I won't be able to use the Google Translate extension here, but I want to switch to another window and show you what else can happen. So this is let me just double check again, make sure, yep, I have the book up. This is a book that I love for my research. It is a study that was done probably, I think this was in the early 1900s, where somebody did research into all of the surnames in Italy and information about them. So, if you had a family name of Esposito, that was one of the family names that was given to orphans when they had no last name. So I know a last name of Esposito usually means that, like a foundling. Um, the last name that I always am looking for and always have a hard time finding is Lisbona, right here on the bottom right. So it's Lisbona, and you'll see as I hover over it, my mouse cursor is still that hand. But if I move over to the first line, the first letter of Lisbona in the text, you'll see a change to that letter I that we often see when we're doing we're typing an email or we're in Word or something like that. And when you see a change, that's when you can start highlighting text. So I can press down on the mouse button now if it's in this I kind of configuration. And if I hold it down, I can highlight this whole section. So let me make it a little larger, actually. So we can see here that I've highlighted Lisbona molto molto raro, which is very, very rare. And I know it's very, very rare, but what I can do is I have the Google Translate extension installed right up here. You'll see in the top right of my window. And once I've highlighted my text, if I click on it, it'll transcribe the text, and then it will give me a translation of that text. So not only can I use the Internet Archive to find foreign language sources, I can also translate them without having to open up a second page and finding out, typing all of this information in it, because I'd be flipping back and forth all day. So again, I want to highlight the difference between the cursor as a hand, because if it's as a hand, you're just going to be flipping pages like so, and you're going to be you can drag the text up and down, but you're not going to be able to highlight unless the cursor turns into that I configuration. So again, here on Lisone on the right-hand side, I can highlight this. I can click on the Google Translate extension. And again, here is my transcription and my translation. So it was a very big deal for me when I found that, because it makes my life at least a whole lot easier. But again, if I go back to my original newspaper that I was looking at, um, and I had it in full screen, and we zoom in, we're still going to have, there's no place where this I, the cursor changes to an I, so there's no way of highlighting this text. Um, Additionally, I usually highlight the text in order to translate it, but if you're on a page that lets you highlight the text, you can also copy and paste it, which is helpful, and you'll be able to make notes and copy things, into your notes. I highly recommend when you're doing work in the Internet Archive that you when you find a page of a book or a newspaper or some kind of text, you want to also copy and paste the URL up on the top here to that specific page, because otherwise you will go crazy trying to find that book and that page again. It's almost like making a mini citation, not a formal citation, but you'll be able to get back to it if you need it. So those are some of the basics of the Internet Archive. Um, Let me search for something else just to give you an idea. Let's try videos. So we have a whole TV news archive, and we have, let's go for all video, and let's do something different now. Let's say 1940s uh, United States movies. Let's see what we get. So here again, we have, I had said before, some universities put their information on online. So the University of Pennsylvania has archaeology and anthropology films here. Um, and here are some other specific videos about other topics. Let's see. Here's one, the Educational Film Institute of New York, NYU. So let's try clicking on this one. And there we go. We get the video, and I can click on the video. Hear the volume, but the words, in addition to the video, I can get the audio, and if you're doing it on your own computer, you should be able to get the audio as well. So, so I just want to stop here for a second before we go on to the Wayback Machine to see if anybody has any questions here. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And there'll also be time for questions at the end, but I figure if you have something specific that I can bring up here, I can do that. Oh, when I translate something, where does the translation appear? Okay, let me go back to the Book of Last Names. Um, and we can see that I've highlighted this text for the zone A and a little bit for Lista underneath it. And if you see in the upper right-hand corner, oh, you know why you can't see it? I bet you because it's a pop out. So Google Meet is showing it as a pop out. Give me 1 second and I'll see if I can get this to, if I show, let's see, if I share my entire screen, I can do that. Let's just hope I don't get a, yeah, I'm gonna get a thing. Let's try that. So what you can see that I have the information highlighted on this on the book here, and then I have the Google icon up here, the Google Translate extension, and if I click on it, it'll automatically, you should be able to see it now, even though it's a pop-up. So technically it was a second screen. But when I click on Google Translate, it will bring up, it's right over the right-hand page. Let me see if you guys can see it now. Yeah, but my thing is in the way. Okay, let's move that over here.
Yeah, we
This
can
is
we can
part
see
of,
it.
okay,
We can
this
see
is
it.
part of the problem with doing it all on one on a single screen. So, thank you, whoever said that. So here, and I can toggle it on and off. So if I want to do something else, I can highlight more down here and click, and there's Google Translate, translating the information in the page. So, okay. Okay, so now I'm going to move over to the Wayback Machine, and I'm going to try to keep our meeting stuff out of the way as much as I can. So the Wayback Machine is a lot of fun. Let me go back to the Internet Archive. The search for the Wayback Machine is separate from the Internet Archive. Internet Archive is down here on the lower half of the middle of the page, with this search text right here. The Wayback Machine is up here, obviously next to Wayback Machine. And if you click on it, you'll be able to go into this text box. Now I'm going to share something kind of personal with you here, because I think it's a great example of the kinds of things that you can get with the Wayback Machine. I have a stepson that he's 23 years old now, and he has an unusual name. His first name is Lennon, after John Lennon, and his last name is Oken. When he was born, his father uh, bought the web address lennonOken.com, and he used it at that time in like 2001, 2002 to post baby pictures, because he had family all over the US, and they all wanted to see Lennon grow up. So I'm going to show you what um, Lennon Oken looked like at that time, and then afterwards I'm going to show you what it looks like today. Um, so I'm typing in lennonOken.com, and come on. Oh, nope. Let me try it again. Okay. Now I've typed in my URL, and what happens is you can see on this this timeline here all of the times that the Wayback Machine has scanned this website. What the Wayback Machine does, I actually should take a step back. It um, it goes through the internet really and saves different websites whenever they change. So if a website, sometimes you can see changes that have happened multiple times in one day. Or in this case, you could see um, Lennon was born 2003, so you could see throughout hit the first couple of years, there were a lot of changes because his dad was posting pictures a lot. And then as he grew up and became a teenager and he didn't want his pictures on the internet, you can see there's a lot less. And then in 2023, Lennon himself has taken over the website and changed it into something completely different. So if I go here and think of this in terms of genealogy, if I want to find pictures of ancestors or pictures of my family, for here, what I would do, if let's take the 2004, because there looks to be a lot of information there then. I'll click on 2004, and you can see, if I scroll down, you can see a calendar here, and it will highlight all of the days when a scan was taken. So, and it's called the snapshot. So here on April 16th, if I just hover over it, you can see that there was a scan taken at oh, I'm not very good at military time. It looks like it's about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Um, so if I click on this time, it will open up the website as it was. It's taking a second, but it will open up the website as it was um, at that time on that day. All right, and I'm getting of course I'm getting an error. I'm getting an error because I'm in the middle of doing a demonstration. Isn't that the way it always goes? Oh, here we are. Okay. So this is what um, the website looked like in 2004. Some of these pictures you can see are broken. It means that they're no longer stored on the website. Um, let's go to holidays for 2002, because I know there were a lot of good pictures here. Um, and it's a little slow. The Wayback Machine is full of information, and I think also because it is a nonprofit, they're doing the best they can with the computers and the servers they're able to have. But here we have, now this is my stepson's great grandfather, who I don't think he'll ever remember meeting, but I can go on this page and pull up that picture for him. I'm sure my husband has it somewhere, but if you were a cousin, or if you were someone else in the family who was related to this man, you could also find this picture on the Wayback Machine. So it's some of the pictures are here, some of them are not, and that has to do with the way that the information is stored on the computer servers. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. I also think some of these broken links have to do with the slowness of the site right now, because there was a second picture here that I was able to pull up last night with no problem. Let me try to refresh and see if that helps. So this is something else I had spoken about. I think in one of the newsletters, that if something goes wrong on the computer, you can just try to, even if you don't know exactly what's wrong, there are a couple of things you can do to fix it, and reloading is one of them. So here we have the picture with Lenin and his grandfather. And then his grandmother. And so I'm just giving you an idea of the kinds of things that you can find, even if this website doesn't look like this right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up in a separate page what Lennon Oaken looks right now. And keep in mind that the person who created this website is 23, and he probably did this when he was in high school. So this is what it looks like right now. And he basically just has a one-page website where he's talking about himself and his cats and his girlfriend, and it's very tongue-in-cheek, and he's just talking about all his friends. But just because that's the way this is now, this is what I get if I go to the quote-unquote regular internet. I can still go back and see this older site. So I'm going to go back to the calendar, back up a little. And if I wanted to go to a different day, so September 3rd has a bigger dot. So you can see that there were multiple scans taken on that day. So actually, is there more than two? No, there's only two. So I can click on that, and it will very slowly bring me back to the website. And I could see things now that were posted on September 3rd that weren't posted on the April version of the site we looked at. So if there was more stuff that was put on between our original April and September, I could see that now when I'm doing this. So I think that was September of 2004. So let me see. He only went up to July. So I think in April, when we first looked, we looked at April 2003. So a lot of this stuff in the, if I'm looking on the left-hand column, a lot of the dates for later in 2003 and then into 2004 weren't here. But now we get things like July of 2004, which I've clicked on, and it's taking some time to load. And then we'll look at that. Come on. Let's see if we reload and get some better pictures. Pictures sometimes take a while to come up because they're oh, here we go. They are larger filed, so pulling them up takes a bit of time. So we have like Lenin in 2004. Oh, no, I'm still missing pictures, but if I'm sure if I gave it enough time to load, I would get more pictures. So that's an example of that. Um, Now, I had a very interesting question come to me. And let me go back to Sonia. I don't know if you're on mute, but I want to take you off mute if you are, because, and I apologize, we're going to get a cascading window now for a minute. Okay. Sonia, where are you? Oh, I know you were there. Saw you join. Well, maybe she's not here anymore. All right. Well, anyway, I got a oh wait, there she is. Sonia, are you on the call? Okay. Well, anyway, let me move forward with this. Um, Sonia had asked a question about being able to see an archive. So sort of like Family Search. It was a very specialized archive having to do with the Dutch West Indies, and um, it had the website of this website. Let me just put it in here. Here it is. So here is the website. Here are all of the scans for TNAP.net. And like Family Search, it has a website. But that website is hooked up to an archive. Let's pull up, let's try October 6, 2017. Now, when you think of a website that has an archive or has a database underneath it, when you're looking at it, you're sitting on at your computer, and to you, the website and the archive data are all one and the same, because like as with Family Search, you can go on to the website and use it to get to search for your information. The problem with this, and Sonia, I think this is the problem you were having, is that she wasn't able to access any of the archive data. She wasn't able to do any searches. And the reason for that is because the Wayback Machine only scans the website portion. So it looks at what's on the individual pages. Like here, it'll say, okay, I've got a teal colored web page, and then I've got the TNAP logo and some of these buttons that tell me about what's going on. There's the Dutch East India Company here, so I can click on that. And it'll take me to the individual web pages, but it's disconnected from the actual archive that has the data. So it would be like going on Family Search and just reading the search screens, or reading the advertisements that they now have about Roots Tech. And you're able to get the information on the page, but you're not able to do searches in the archive because the Wayback Machine never copied the archive. Um, there are a number of reasons why they don't do that. One big one is security. Websites, especially archives, are set up so that they don't allow scans to be made of their data. That has in the past caused huge problems when we think of things where I think I just got something in the mail, I think from American Express, saying that they were hacked at some point and their archive data was accessed, and therefore I could be part of a class action lawsuit and get $50 or whatever. But so in general, security measures are taken to prevent archives from being scanned. So the Wayback Machine will scan the pages, but they can't go back into the data. The other reason is that there just wouldn't be enough space to put it all. If the Wayback Machine was doing things like scanning Ancestry and scanning Family Search, there would be no place, they wouldn't have enough room to hold all of that data. So Sonia, I'm sorry not to be able to give you better news, but so I think you can look at all of these pages, but if I go to, for instance, a database of documents, I tried this last night, and I wound up not being able to get in because there really was no archive data behind it. So let's see what we have now. Separate from this, I fell down a rabbit hole of learning about the Dutch East India Company that there was so much on Africa that I had no idea. I associate them with India and that part of the world, but so I learned a lot, you know. So you have the page with the instructions on them, and that's fine. But if you try to look at the actual archive information, you're going to run into problems because there's no archive data there. So another issue with the Wayback Machine that I want to highlight is the first thing I tested when I was looking at this TNAP database was that Sonia and I are on different continents. I'm in the US, she's in Europe, and sometimes access is only given to people in a certain area. So for instance, there may be archives that are only available to people in a certain country. If you're outside, you've all seen this on YouTube, I'm sure. This video cannot be played within your country or whatever. So that was something I tried as well. And that wasn't the case here because it was an archive that was giving us the problem. But it is something to keep in mind that sometimes if you use the Wayback Machine and you don't get exactly what you think you're going to get, that might be something, another reason for it. And you may want to do more research to see who is eligible to see the information. So that is my quick bit of information about the Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine also, like Google, the Google Translate extension, you can see here on the left, the Wayback Machine also allows you, you can put a small extension up here in the corner. So if it's something that you use a lot, you have it ready at all times, so you don't have to come to this website. I use it occasionally, mostly when I'm looking for pictures and things. But it's easy to put the extension in here if you need it, and then you'll have it at your fingertips. So let me pull this back up. So that is my bit on the Internet Archive. Yes, so I'm looking at the comments now. Sorry, Sonia. I wish I could help. I'll look at it a little bit more and see, but I'm pretty sure that the problem is you just don't have an archive underneath the actual web pages. Um, does anybody else have any questions or anything you want me to go through? No? If not, I think we're good. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope that you learned a little bit. I hope this is helpful. And I am going to be posting this recording. It may take me a day or two because, like I said, I'm not at home right now. But definitely by Monday, you should be able to see it. I will post the link to the video both on the Facebook page and I'll post it in next Tuesday's newsletter for those of you who don't use Facebook. Um, Otherwise, if you're in the Northeast, make sure you buy your bread and milk because we've got a storm coming. And I will see you all next month. All right. Right. Have a good day, everybody.